right, welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily on Oh So Curious. Well, it's another exciting episode, and we've got a lot to talk about today because not only do we have some Superman news, we've got to talk about Summer of Superman. You know, what are our expectations now that we are, waiting on the second trailer, but we've gotten a bunch of extra footage. We're getting so many new pieces of merchandise. We have to talk about Thunderbolts, of course, as well. Where does that stand? That's coming out literally in a couple of days from now. If you're watching us live, and the reviews are out. The social media embargo dropped, or the reviews embargo dropped rather. We have a Rotten Tomatoes rating we got to talk about, and then there's a new Wonder Woman cover out that's worth discussing. I think it's very, very interesting. We talked about Wonder Woman yesterday, so might as well bring that in again. And then we have a couple of new trailers. You have The Rock looking nothing like The Rock in The Smashing Machine. And that new Warner Brothers movie Weapons also has a new trailer. So to do that and so much more, let's hit the news intro, and then, we're going to get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see Corbin.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. Well, from Sony using Roblox to promote Karate Kid Legends to, of course, we have Paramount getting sued again for Top Gun Maverick. Wow. Between that and all the DC news and the Marvel stuff, we've got lots to talk about today. And to do that and so much more, as always, with me, I've got John. How are you doing today?
Definitely appearing shorter than I should. Hey, see, look, I have Snorlax all on display in the background. There you go. But yeah, doing well. I really liked the trailers that I watched today. The Dwayne Johnson in the intro definitely now has some sort of
Context.
relevance now.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you would think Dwayne The Rock Johnson is no longer relevant.
He's always
even though
relevant.
he inserts himself
to,
into every bullshit imaginable. So
yeah. Whenever he's low on relevance, he'll just come in and be like, let's have a shot of Terry Mana, and then just you're back.
I'm gonna try to actually act this time. So let's see.
This time, yes. Yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna start things off on the Marvel front because that's what we did yesterday, and well, the big movie of the week is Thunderbolts, with an asterisk at the end, which will finally get resolved if you go to see the movie in the theaters. For those of the folks who went to see the early screening last week, they already know that the title. Well, yeah, they do kind of pay it off towards the end. I won't spoil it for you guys. I had it spoiled for me, but I don't necessarily mind the spoiler. But it's kind of it's funny. It's irreverent. That seems to be the consensus around the movie, as it were. Obviously, you can see here the Rotten Tomatoes score is out now, 88%. It's certified fresh with 105 reviews as of the time that we're doing the show here. You can get your tickets. It's I think a day or two away now. I mean, depending on when you watch this. Like today is a Tuesday when we're doing the show live, so the movie comes out in previews on Thursday. Depending on where you're on the world, you might be able to see it as early as Wednesday. And then some of you, like I mentioned, might have seen it last week. They did a special fan screening. So a lot of people, on social media, we talked about those reactions last week, and they were pretty darn good. Like it's a movie that has a lot riding on its back because it's sort of the closest thing to a team up Avengers like movie that we have gotten in a long time in the MCU. And of course, these are not your typical Avengers characters, far from it, which is the point of the movie. But John, what I wanted to do is, go over some of the first reviews. Just quickly, we can kind of walk through them and get your opinion on, do you see this movie any differently? And some of the reviews that are on Rotten Tomatoes now, like you have the one from, let's say, Discussing Film, Tyler Tang, saying Thunderbolts is a great superhero flick and one of the biggest surprises of 2025. Joey Magidson from Awards Radar said the initial thought might be to dismiss Thunderbolts as an also ran. That would be a mistake since this flick is one of Marvel's most successful efforts of late. Collider's Ross Boname said the sort of level that more superhero films should be at. Thunderbolts is a pleasant surprise. Variety's Peter DeBruge said, precious few of these movies rise to the level of essential viewing, however frivolous it may sound. Schreier, who's the director, his scrappy ensemble effort is anything but a one-off. And then Eric Francisco from Esquire saying, Thunderbolts is essential summer movie escapism and proof that perhaps the lethargic Marvel Studios can still capture lightning in a bottle. And then you have Siddhant Adlaka from joysauce.com saying, until its climactic collapse, Thunderbolts is good enough. So, I mean, you see there, it's a whole spectrum of reviews, and you know they continue here like this is what the fans have been waiting for. It's a nice reminder of what this company is capable of at its best. It's one of the MCU's best. It goes back to the basics and what's worked before. Creates one of the most enjoyable, fun, and genuinely moving MCU films since Endgame. It's one of the best movies of the multiverse saga to date. So, John, what are your thoughts on all of these different reviews? You know, evokes a different energy, gives the flick a slightly different look and feel from most Marvel works. It seems like they're trying something different here. This is not your, you know, the last few Marvel movies that you've gotten necessarily. It seems like it's a step in a different direction, if not a better one. What are your thoughts on the reviews so far, John?
It's Rotten Tomatoes sucking Marvel's dick again. Like, are we
How
really?
would you, it's the people's like opinions. It's like it's not like you're on.
I mean, it's critics. Critics are bullshit, and Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit. So, because people see like, oh, it's the percentage, and it's just like the problem with the percentage of Rotten Tomatoes, why it is not a good benchmark for movies. One, you're taking something that is extremely subjective and something that can have a lot of elements to like really track down into a number, is that it's not just like 95% raving reviews. This isn't just 95%, oh my god, this is the greatest movie ever. It one could be, oh, this is great. One could be, oh, this is pretty good. One could be like, it's fine. And then and it's all of those feed into the quote unquote fresh reviews. And it's been known in the past that it depends on the movie. Like straight up, there's a 2 out of 5 movie on another movie that can be rotten, but on a Marvel movie or hell, any other movie, it can be a positive. It can be a fresh review. So, you know, that's why I've never liked Rotten Tomatoes. And even when movies I like are positive, okay, that's great. But like, I still never take it seriously. I don't like it. I like looking at the average aggregator, Letterboxd. That's what I usually look at, what my friends like with similar tastes. Metacritic is good. But for the most part, I just don't like Rotten Tomatoes. And the thing is, considering the fact out of its, now we are reaching 15, 16, 17-year history of the MCU, only 3 movies in its existence have received certified rotten scores. And that's Captain America, Brave New World being the most recent, Eternals, and Quantumania. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's way more fucking rotten movies from the MCU that deserve it than that. But, you know, people love the MCU. People love sucking its dick, and that's fine. If you like it, you like it. Great. It's just like part of the disillusion for me with the MCU is just like the constant, like, oh my God, the constant stands, let's say. I know that's not everybody, and most people are kind of sick of this franchise at this point, but it's just like, it just kind of becomes so tiring. It becomes like just kind of meh, and I just kind of don't really care at it anymore. And is this movie good? Maybe it could be. I don't know. I don't care enough about the actors, the characters to go and see it. So, do you have a good or bad? Here's the thing. In terms of Thunderbolts, would I go watch it? No, probably not. At the very most, I will catch this on streaming at the least I will catch clips of it 2 years down the line on YouTube Shorts. That's the least I will get, because that's what I got for Deadpool and Wolverine. So mainly because Gambit went viral. But in terms of this, it just looks like you're taking one of DC's weakest properties that DC keeps shoving in our faces, which is Suicide Squad, and just doing that. Maybe this is their way of saying, hey, we can do Suicide Squad better, which, sure, but like,
Well,
I just don't have.
I think the idea, like,
Yeah.
while it's been fun to talk about, like, this is another Suicide Squad. I think that was a fun narrative in the very beginning. I think it's very, you're boiling it down to just, oh, it's another Suicide Squad, given how they marketed this movie and how the story is different. Yes, on a certain level, it feels similar, but like, it's also saying, that movie feels like Romeo and Juliet. Well, I mean, no shit. There's only like so many ways you can tell a story. But what I would like to say is, like, I think the marketing for this movie has done a good job of giving us a reason to go check it out, in the sense that Marvel seems to be implying that this movie is going to have a big effect on what comes next after it. Because, of course, while the next movie in the MCU slate is the Fantastic Four, the First Steps, which takes place in a different timeline, that's kind of a parallel universe, if you want to call it that. The next time we come back to the 616, the mainline MCU, we're getting into the Avengers, essentially. And it seems like the events of this movie will set the stage for where we end up with in Avengers Doomsday, and then obviously the Fantastic Four will figure into it somehow. And there are post-credit scenes in this movie to kind of set that up. The title of the movie comes up towards the end of the film, and that's where we get to find out more about, like, what's going on with the actual name of the movie. Why is there an asterisk? But John, as far as the financial side of things, at the box office, it's set to earn somewhere between 160 to 175 million at the worldwide box office on its opening weekend. The movie's budget is about 180 million. So again, like a lot of Marvel movies, it's going to make back most of that, just the budget alone. I mean, the marketing budget
That's
is
not a
on top of that.
surprise.
So it's getting off to a good start. I mean, kind of like what Captain America did, Captain America: Brave New World, but it's all going to be about the staying power. And like you said, Captain America 4 had a rotten score on RottenTomatoes.com, whereas this on the tomato meter is certified fresh. And it was over 90% earlier in the day. It's dropped below 90 now to 88% with 105 reviews. If you click into that a little bit, you've got about 13 rotten reviews and 92 fresh ones. They don't even have currently got the top critics distinction. This is just all under one category, so I'm sure that will happen. They do say that Florence Pugh is obviously a standout. We know David Harbour is probably going to entertain us plenty. It is an allegory on mental health and just struggling with all the bad stuff that all these people have done, obviously, because a lot of these characters were the villains of their movies in the years past in the MCU. And how do you find redemption in doing something? And the character of the Void, of course, is a big part of that. Now, speaking of which, I did want to bring in the comment that was made by Jake Schreier, the director of the movie, recently. He was on Collider doing an interview, and he mentioned that the design of the Void was inspired by the shadows from the Hiroshima bombings. Like the way I mean, again, I don't think it's one for one the same thing, but I guess I understand the visual direction and
Probably
the inspiration for
don't admit that. Like,
it's
if you were inspired by a real life incident, a real life or really fucked up thing that we had to do during a war, yeah, don't mention that while you're trying to shill your Marvel movie. Yeah, not in good taste, I don't feel. I know it's been like 80 years, but still not a good look.
I, for one, don't think that's it's an issue to point that out, as long as, I mean, again, not having seen the movie, I don't know the context in which this is meant to be truly taken in, because like you get to see like how this plays out, because obviously the MCU also feels like it's been through probably a World War level event, right, with what happened in Avengers Endgame. So there's probably a lot of people out there who have mental health issues as a result of that, and just recovering from trauma and stuff, and people that they've lost along the way. Because you got to remember, I mean, half the world got snapped away and then they came back, but there's probably a lot of people out there who survived that and died in those 5 years in between anyway. So, and then, the people who came back are like, where's my family members? And like, they're gone because they passed away within the last 5 years. Like, there's a lot of that as well. So I think this movie, from what my understanding is based on the reviews I was reading before the show, it tries to deal with that at a more, street level, which we haven't really seen as much even with Captain America 4. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see again how this is played out. Like I said, it's not exactly one for one the look, but I suppose everybody has an inspiration, and this, if that is indeed the inspiration, we'll just have to wait and see how it plays into the story of the film, which we will be talking about later in the week when Liz is on with us. With that said, I mean, David Harbour recently, he was talking about fellow MCU star Pedro Pascal, saying, I've been mad at him for 30 years because he's known him for 17, since they were 17 years old. Saying that we went to Northwestern Cherups together. We were in the same play. He got the lead even back then. He was so talented and attractive. And then, of course, Florence Pugh. This was in an interview where it was basically Florence Pugh and David Harbour were sitting there together, kind of talking about Thunderbolts. And then, of course, Fantastic Four is up next in the MCU. So they're talking about Pedro Pascal along the way. And Florence Pugh added, like, he's so unbelievably kind. You just instantly feel like he's your friend, which seems to line up with just about everything else that anybody else has said about Pedro Pascal. I mean, who just was in The Last of Us season 2 recently, finishing up his time on that show. But now he's, of course, full blown in the MCU, moving up forward. He's going to be promoting the Fantastic Four. He was on the red carpet for Thunderbolts. John, what are your thoughts on this? Are you surprised? I should ask, like, by again, David Harbour, somebody who's known him for 30 years, and even Florence Pugh talking about Pedro Pascal the way that they have. They all, three of them, they're all going to be in Avengers Doomsday together as well.
That's cute, I guess. Cool. They're going to be filming together for Doomsday, so that's fun.
I wonder how these characters cross over. You got Red Guardian and Mr. Fantastic. It seems like, they're on two opposite ends of spectrum in terms of power.
So how did you get your powers, Fantastic Boy? I got them from Cosmic Rays. Oh, Cosmic Rays. Fancy.
We need a version of that for every time he comes across any other superhero.
And then for like a really dumb way of like getting your powers is like he just scoffs it off like, oh, spider guy, how did you get yours? I got bitten by a radioactive spider. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, no big deal.
I got bit by spider last night when
I got bit by spider. What? Fucking pussy. Come on.
Well, I mean, okay, so one of the other actors, of course, in the movie, we have Sebastian Stan playing the Winter Soldier for the umpteenth time. But in recent interviews, he's rocking this bald look, which I guess it makes me wonder, is he going to be bald in Doomsday, or is it one of the many like other movies? Like, he puts out 6 movies a year. Do you think this is for his look in Doomsday, or this is for another project that he's bald?
Honestly, I'd like to see bald Bucky because he's kind of rocking a Karen haircut. He's been rocking that bob for the past couple movies. So let me see something that's at least kind of a little bit more, I don't know, cool, rather than like I want to speak to your manager, Dr. Doom. So, I'll take a bald. As a fellow bald guy, I would love to see more bald stuff, as long as it's not like poorly composited shots like Anthony Mackie at the end of Brave New World, where it's like, he has hair. Why is he bald here? Oh, yeah, terrible CGI. That's why. So I think bald Bucky could be cool.
Yep. By the way, guys, if you are watching, we see a lot of you guys here. So welcome on in. But hit the like button. We do appreciate that. I just wanted to shout out all the folks in the chat. We have more Katna joining us. We have Enterprising Hosea's here. JB is here. Then Figure Drawing joined in. 5 Ashes here as well. TC24 dropping in too. And anybody else watching, feel free to drop in the live chat. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, I mean, this looks interesting. I guess we'll find out when the movie trailer hits. Is he going to be bald in the movie? Even if he is bald, maybe he's bald for another project that he's working on, and then he's just going to get a wig for when he's shooting Doomsday. That could be possible. Now, speaking of Bucky Barnes, the director Jake Schreier was talking about the connection of James Buchanan Barnes, who's now in the movie a senator, because when we see him in Captain America: Brave New World, he's running for Senate, but now it seems like by the time you meet him in Thunderbolts, he's won the race and become the senator. But also Jake Schreier was asked by Kevin Feige that, hey, for this movie Thunderbolts, I want you to make it so that people don't need to do a lot of homework to go watch this movie, which like is hard to do when it's a set of characters that have all inherently been a part of another storyline before, and that's kind of how you know them and remember them. But let's just pretend that you're going into this fresh and haven't seen a single MCU movie before. Jake Schreier said it starts with Kevin Feige saying, hey, make it work if people haven't seen any of these things. And I think that's great of him to recognize that it's just a delicate dance with a great group of writers to try to find ways to, without it feeling heavily expositional, allude to things that people who have, like when Yelena says, I thought it started when my sister died. You're defining for a new audience that she has a sister that's died. Obviously, if you watch these movies, there's a whole wealth of emotional resonance if you know who she's talking about in the story that she's referring to. But I think we always look for ways to kind of drop those ideas in so you could follow along with this thing, and then also just really make its own story to have a full arc and not feel like you're being dropped in the middle of an installment. So, John, a bit of an impossible task for a movie like the Thunderbolts, where literally every character is there because they were there in a previous MCU movie, and you have to make that feel like a standalone where people don't have to do homework. Do you think there's any world in which Jake Schreier could have succeeded with that task? Do you think he possibly succeeded with that task, with how he's talking about it, and I guess what Kevin Feige asked him to do?
I mean, yeah, I feel like they're at least maybe trying to learn from their mistakes. So it's like, oh, we need to see this, this, and this to understand this movie. Sometimes that works in a comic because it's like cheap and like you could like easily like get, I mean, yeah, $5 a pop right now, but cheaper, like you could get a bunch of these comics, read them and like connect to everything. But like for movies and TV, it's a neat experimental idea, but then at the same time, you're watching like 10 hours of stuff to understand a 2-hour movie. Like I get what they're trying to do, but it just didn't work. I think that was a bit of a failed experiment on their end. So I like how it's like, okay, you got to reintroduce it for every movie who's like, it has to be fresh and new and interconnected. That's why I kind of like what the DCEU was doing towards the end. And what I feel like James Gunn is doing with the DCU is it's going to be interconnected. Like it's going to be all in the same universe, but at the same time, it's going to be standalone. It's just like, oh, we so happen to reference this thing and this thing, but this is going to be its own thing, its own story. So we don't have to learn. We don't have to see like a billion movies and a billion TV shows to understand it. So I really appreciate that. So I think that's nice to see. I just feel like we don't have to wait until a movie like Fantastic Four, where it's like, oh, it takes place literally on a different Earth, to not go see like a million TV shows to understand this one thing. So I kind of like how they're trying to go for that.
No, I agree with you. I think it's a good point. I mean, it's kind of hard to not allude to all the different movies that these characters have been a part of before, especially like with Winter Soldier. He's been there from pretty much the beginning, whether it's in the form of Bucky or as the Winter Soldier. But yeah, the Thunderbolts have one mid-credit and one post-credit scene. And apparently they're going to be hinting at what's to come next with the Avengers movies, like both Doomsday and
okay, they're not even
War.
being subtle with that fucking poster. That's literally a ripoff of the Suicide Squad poster. Come on, man. At least try to be original.
Self-aware ripoff.
Like, goddamn, guys. Come on.
Is that meant to be Will Smith in the back? Like
no, it's not Suicide Squad. It's the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, you're right. Wait, hold on.
Like, it's Idris Elba and Joel Kinnaman and
yes, that. I know what you're talking about. Yes. Let me find it.
I just sent it to you.
Okay.
On Slack.
Oh, right there. I'll pull it up. We'll...
Like.
There it is.
It's like, come on, you have the guy with the guns, you have like somebody in the
very
front.
Pulpy. I mean, they obviously made it very pulpy for the Suicide Squad because it was meant to be like the 70s action sort of a vibe.
Yeah, and they even have the star in the background. Like it's a star here, obviously, because it's Starro, but here
Right.
they have the asterisk star in the background. Like, come on, not even subtle. Tisk
Yep.
tisk. Tisk tisk.
Hey, somebody obviously got the reference. Over at the Marvel marketing department, that is. Yeah, but I mean, John, do you care to speculate what these post-credit scenes might or might not entail, like in terms of where the what they might be hinting
Well,
at?
I remember reading something a little spoilery for one of them, but I don't know if it's true or not. And I'm not going to reveal it here because I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah. Say that again. Anyway, but
And
yeah,
I'm saying David Ayer and James Gunn would be proud of that poster, the attempt to emulate. Elite Easy also in the chat, by the way. Sorry, you were saying?
no, it's just there was a rumor on what the post credit scene would be, which would also technically spoil another movie, but like I don't know. It's probably not true, but I still don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it for people, but I also want to talk about it because it was like it was a rumored mid credit scene. So
Why don't you
I don't know.
tell me in the private chat so maybe we can determine the worth of
Okay,
it, discussing it
I'll
together. That's we're trying to figure this out on the fly, guys. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys let us know in the chat. Have you guys seen this movie yet? Did you guys see the early screening, or are you guys waiting to see it this week? Are you guys even gonna go see it? Thunderbolts coming out in a couple of days from now on Thursday. I mean, JB also saying, to be fair, this is a very common poster type. Yeah, I mean, for an action movie that is an ensemble, I guess you could say that, like, you know, with a bunch of actors, but
I mean, the original poster,
yeah.
the AI poster, ripped off "This Is the End" and "Inside
That's
Out."
true. That's very, so I guess it goes along with that. Enterprising, the color grading equals so dark. You sure that you're not part of the DC universe? I mean, well, I will say the lack of saturation in so much of this movie does remind me a little bit of the Zack Snyder effect. At least in
That's
his way
not
of
a good
writing
thing,
things.
though.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
I'm
when
sick
Zack
of
Snyder does it,
grayscale.
there's
Can
a
we
lot more
bring
than just
color
color
back?
grading.
Hashtag make movies color again.
Yeah, but okay, I will say this: when Zack Snyder does it, it's more so than just about a simple color grade. There's a lot more to it, and it's the way he
I
shoots things and
know,
everything. But
like
anyway,
color.
um, by the way, we have the Glimmercast in the chat. Hello, Glimmercast. How are you doing today? And Elite EZ does not want any Thunderbolt spoilers, so we will not give you any spoilers there. And yes, we hope that all is well with you too, Glimmercast. We are doing great. JB's like, give me Thunderbolts in the black and white, the gray edition or something. What was it? Thunderbolts is gray. Maybe we can call it that. You know, I mean, half the movies looks like it's gray anyway when you look at the movie trailers alone because of the void, which makes sense. Oh, okay. Yes. I just looked at a private chat that John shared, and I will not share that here because that is total spoiler territory. So we're gonna move on to the next thing. John, there were 2 trailers you wanted to talk about. The first one, the Smashing Machine. Is that The Rock? Is that Dwayne Johnson? That does not look like him. They're doing some prosthetics work on this man in a way that I haven't seen in a long time. And this looks like, you know, Dwayne Johnson.
Like you can kind of tell it's
for an award,
mainly in the eyes. Like you could tell.
Yes,
like,
the eyes are but like you could tell that the nose looks a bit different. Maybe there's done some work around the cheeks and stuff. Obviously, they gave him a little, like a goatee sort of situation.
Yeah, I mean, with hair, he looks even more unrecognizable. Like, damn.
Totally. I mean, this is focused on the UFC legend Mark Kerr and Benny Safdie's biopic, of course, coming to us from A24. You saw the trailer. I wanted to get your opinion on it. What did you think about this movie so far? I saw most of the trailer. I got distracted in the middle of watching it, but I wanted to get your opinion on it, John. Obviously, you know, the Rock has experience as a professional wrestler, but here he's playing a UFC fighter. What are your thoughts on, you know, the trailer
I mean, congrats for The Rock for like actually, you know, trying to act here. That's crazy. You know, he's the hierarchy of biopics is about to change. But I think
The
this does.
hierarchy of
I mean,
power in the
if there's
biopic.
anybody
It
on
looks like
planet
young
Earth,
Batista here. Anyway,
if
go
there's
ahead.
anybody on planet Earth that could get a good performance out of him, it's Safdie, and then
Mhm.
eventually Martin Scorsese for that later film. So, you know, I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah, he's
I'm
doing
not a
that
big
too.
like UFC, mixed martial arts, or wrestling kind of guy. I'm just interested in good movies, and I loved Uncut Gems. So, and I like the kind of documentary like style that they're kind of going with it.
Mhm.
Like the entire movie has like a documentary style, but at the same time, like as like a sort of like how wrestling is filmed, like sort of that like just like very like reality show, like showcasing that very realness to it all. And I really like that. I like that how that was a good like interesting cinematography choice. I really liked that. I think I've seen some people complain like, why are they getting The Rock? He's too old to play a young Mark Carr. But I think Mark Kerr, however you pronounce it, because I've heard
Mhm.
Carr and Kerr for that spelling, but I think this looks really interesting. It looks like a genuinely good movie. It looks like Dwayne Johnson's like actually like turning heel, you would say,
Mhm.
to finally actually give us like a good performance rather than generic comedy and generic action. So that's something
He
like
looks
here
unrecognizable in this shot.
like this
I
shot I couldn't even tell like, oh, The Rock is in this picture. Where? Like straight up, he arrived on set like in the prosthetics, and
Mhm.
like everyone was like, when the fuck is The Rock gonna show up? Where is he? And he's like, I'm right here. Hi. So I'm really curious how this will go. I'm not like like, oh my god, this is like my most anticipated of the year, but like when I heard about it and I saw that first image of Car that was released like at least probably a year ago by this point, I was like, this actually looks like a really good movie, and the trailer has me already pretty much sold. So Safdie, the man, just keeps winning, whether he's acting in stuff like Oppenheimer or directing stuff,
Yeah.
whether it's with or without his brother. I think we're gonna get great things from this, and
Yeah.
it already has a good like it's got Emily Blunt as well.
Emily Blunt, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm stoked for this. This looks very interesting.
It
I know
does. I mean,
biopics are a little old, but like I know people are kind of getting sick of them. But like when they look this good, then I'm like, I'm not complaining.
yeah, no, it's also again The Rock. I guess he can show here finally that when it comes to actually showing up and acting the part, can he do it? And this seems to be the biggest challenge for him. And honestly, I think he went through a period early in his career where he did a few movies like that, which people seem to forget about now because he then went and did every other franchise he possibly could. But getting back to something like this, where he's playing a character that really asks the most of him as an actor, hopefully we'll get to see what is Dwayne Johnson actually capable of as an actor today. And the trailer so far looks great. I was impressed by this, and again, couldn't even see him in half the shots. I'm like, wait, he's in there? Is that him? Is that really him? And it's almost like, I mean, he does kind of transform a little bit in shots where in some shots he looks less like himself than in others. So hopefully that doesn't become a distraction. But obviously, I think if the story is enthralling enough and it really brings you in, it's immersive enough, then you won't have to worry about like, oh, he looks less like The Rock in this shot than he did in the last one. So, the Smashing Machine coming out soon, A24. The first trailer is out now, so you guys are welcome to go check this out. And it looks very good so far. And of course, this is not the like you said, John. He's also got he's got a Jungle Cruise sequel in the works with Emily Blunt. He's working with Martin Scorsese and Leo DiCaprio in a Hawaiian crime thriller as well. So The Rock's got a full slate. In addition to, of course, a live action Moana, he's got the Monster Jam movie with Disney. So there's no shortage of Dwayne The Rock Johnson at the movies in the coming years. But that's not the only trailer today we want to talk about, John. Weapons, the new Josh Brolin movie where he's searching for missing students, is also out. Now, this
Mhm.
is from the same director as the one who directed Barbarian. It's a creepy new horror movie. We talked about the first look images a few, maybe like a few days or week ago, maybe. But now, I mean, they also had this at CinemaCon. That trailer has now dropped for the public
Yeah,
to see.
because there was
So
the initial trailer where it was like kind of
it was like a
not.
teaser. It wasn't
It was
really,
like a teaser, but
yeah.
it just showed the kids running into the night. Um, and that was played before Sinners for me. I don't know if it was for anybody else, but that's when I watched it in Dolby, that's what I got. But now, like, I was like kind of curious once it was announced. I'm like, okay, Zach Krieger. I liked Barbarian. It was flawed, but it was still good. And then I was like, okay, I saw that first trailer. I'm like, that's okay. I'm all right. And then once we got this trailer, I was like, yep, I'm 100% sold. This looks phenomenal. And Zach Krieger was saying, he was talking about like, he was like, the idea of these children, the mystery of these children going missing, that's just the inciting incident. By the end of the movie, we would have taken 15 lefts, 3 rights, 4 roundabouts to whatever the fuck bullshit you're watching. He's like, I wanted to make a horror epic, and that's what I think I did here. And you know what? That's really interesting. So, and I also learned some other stuff about the movie. That New Line bought this for about 38 million, and apparently during the bidding war for this movie, Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Productions, his production company, was one of the bidders. And
Okay.
when he found out they didn't get it, he fired all of his managers.
Damn. Oh wow. Okay.
I was like, he
Ouch.
was fucking pissed apparently.
This must be a good movie then if he thinks this
Like,
highly of it.
and
Jordan
straight
Peele.
up, that was another thing I learned, that it was supposed to come out next year in January, but the test screenings were so overwhelmingly positive, they pushed it to this year for August 8th.
Dang. Okay.
That's
I mean, you know what? And it might end up being the summer of Julia Garner too, because she, of course, is our new Silver Surfer in the Fantastic
Yeah.
Four movie, and then she's got this coming out in August, like literally weeks
hopefully
after.
she can redeem herself from the god awful Wolfman movie. So
You also
good
got
for
Benedict
her.
Wong in this on the right, like he's there, of course.
Yeah.
So
You know, Wong and the
Aiden
Silver Surfer. The
Ehrenreich?
Wong,
Yeah.
the Silver
Anyway.
Surfer, and Thanos try to find lost children. Let's go.
Pretty much, and then Han Solo in there somewhere too, because Aiden Ehrenreich is also.
We
movie.
don't. We don't.
That looks. That. Oh my lord, that looks freaking creepy. Holy
it
cow.
looks, because it looks like a whole, like he said it's gonna like take like all these different turns, and that's the vibe I get from this trailer. I mean, look at Barbarian, where it like the entire movie changed like halfway through. So like that's the vibe I'm getting here, and I feel like many people saw that as a flaw, and I get that, but it feels like we're getting like something that's gonna like really have a lot of twists and turns, and he's like, it's gonna go away from that initial thing, but it's like it's gonna wrap up into itself. And you know, it looks like you have Josh Brolin like wanting to find his kid, obviously, and Julie Gardner feeling some sort of guilt, like is she the reason for this? Because the whole basis is, it's not just like kids go missing. It's specifically, and if you watch the trailer, it's not like a spoiler or anything. If you watch the trailer, they tell this, where it's like, so Julie Gardner plays a teacher, and she goes into school one day, and literally her entire class is missing, and we don't know what, like, it was, and the kid who does the narration is very good, like just very creepy. She was like, pretty much the night before, her entire class at 2:17, they got up out of their beds, walked downstairs, opened the door, went off into the night, and they never came back. So, and it's just this class. So it's like, you have like, the vibe I'm getting is like, you have the guilt of this teacher, like, did she do something? And you also have like the principal, played by Benedict Wong. He's like, is she to blame? Is she not? What are we doing? And so it's like, it's a whole mess of things. And Alden Ehrenreich, I think he plays a police officer. I think he's shown at some point in the trailer, like like kind of like a blink and you'll miss it. It was mainly Julie Gardner, Josh Brolin, and Benedict Wong were like the main standouts of like the trailer. But yeah, this looks fucking fantastic. Like, I'm really stoked for this, and I love this turn of like comedians going into horror. First, it was Jordan Peele, and now Zach Krieger from The Whitest Kids You Know to this. So it's like I'm all for it, man, because I think, and this is just a side thing before we finish up, before you turn the music on, there's something I think comedy and horror really go hand in hand a lot, because they, I think, are the most subjective genres. Like, more so, I understand, movies as an art form, it's already subjective, but like I think comedy and horror are even more subjective, because I think, like, most people can agree that was a great drama, that was a great thriller, that was a great this, that was a great that. That would be good casting. We can all kind of like either unanimously agree if something like a drama is good or a drama is
Hugo
bad.
Millie also in the
But
chat now.
hi, Hugo.
And Nico.
Stroking. But
And
comedy,
Man
what
fam.
makes me laugh is not something that makes you laugh. Like, it's not just looking at it as a film, but it's looking at it specifically what you fear and what brings you laughter, what brings you joy. So it's kind of like, and I feel like because of that, there's an understanding from good comedy directors, which are, Jordan Peele and Zach Krieger in this case, in my comparison here, where they understand, okay, yes, I have to make a good movie or a good show or a good this or a good that, but at the same time have to make the audience laugh. And with that, they have that deep understanding of like, okay, now I have to switch gears of making people laugh to making people feel fear. And I think that's very interesting, and it really goes hand in hand more than you would think. And
It does. No, it's and that's why, like, you see, because if you do good comedy, you can do good horror, because like you said, it's like the mechanics of it from a performance standpoint align quite a bit. I mean, Julia Gardner, also Gilmer Cast pointing out, Madonna herself chose her for playing Madonna in
wait,
the
is she
biopic.
wait, is that actually
Yes.
happening, or was that
I'm pretty sure that's an upcoming
Oh,
like
okay, I
Madonna
didn't
movie
realize
with Julia
that.
Garner.
Yeah, cool.
She
That's
looks
great.
the part. I mean, she's got the acting chops.
She was good. Here's the thing with Wolfman, it was not a good movie, but the thing is, I felt she was kind of wooden and like kind of just there, but I don't blame her. I blame the piss poor direction and the piss poor writing. I don't blame her for that. So, anyway, we've probably spent way too long on this, but I'm super excited for this. I think Zach Krieger is going to be a great horror director, hopefully from now into the future. And it's got a great cast, great ideas, a lot of intrigue, a lot of mystery. Him and, even though Jordan Peele isn't directing it, this and him look like great experimental pieces that I cannot wait for. So horror fans are definitely eating good this year.
Hell yeah. This looks great. I mean, honestly, for me, I don't like jump scare heavy horror movies. This is the kind of horror movie that I can get into. It's like a thriller, like a psychological thriller on many levels. And I would love to see it. It even kind of it gives me, what was that Ben Affleck Rosamund Pike movie again? What am I? Gone Girl. It almost kind of get a little bit of the Gone, except obviously it's not the same.
Well, it's like somebody going missing with a twist.
Like,
so
yes,
in
a manner of speaking,
whatever the twist is.
So, guys, that comes out on August 8th. I'm sure we're going to be getting more trailers between now and then. And
no, I have not watched Ozark, but I've heard, like, my parents watch it and they said it was amazing. I don't doubt that Julie Gardner is a great actress. Like, I'm not denying that. I just think from I've seen her in other stuff. Wolfman, she was just but again, I don't blame her for the not great performance. I blame the direction. That was a very piss poor directed movie and a piss poor written movie. It had some really good ideas, and I think there was like she tried her best with the subpar material, but that was not on her. That was on Lee Wannell, he's directed like Upgrade and Invisible Man were great, so I don't know how he dropped the ball with that.
Well, I mean, hey, as far as the two movies we're talking about, The Smashing Machine and Weapons. Both of them coming out later this year. I can't wait. Those are two really good trailers. But we have a bunch more news to talk about, John. So why don't you hit that elevator music, the bossa nova elevator music, and we'll get into the quick hits because we have even more movies to get into today. It's starting. Well, we're gonna start off with something that's not really movie related. I just thought it was fun. Somebody put into ChatGPT, "Hey, I want Michael Scott in iconic album covers," and the results are iconic because, of course, you have just Michael cover, Queen 2. This looks amazing. I just like how Jim is the one with the smile on his face. He's the only one smiling. That looks hilarious. Michael in the 1989 Taylor Swift cover, and he got the Kanye meme on the side. I'm like, all right, great, that's perfect. Michael Scott in Thriller. Okay, this is something Michael Scott would actually appreciate. He would probably frame this on his wall in his apartment next to his huge plasma TV. If you know, you know. This looks hilarious. I just thought these were funny. This is kind of like that. You know, you want to see Willem Dafoe in every movie. Did you have any standouts in this one, John?
Not really. I mean, it's cute, but like.
The card.
Stupid.
Got them hands. In 21, oh my god, the Adele album. That gives a whole different dimension. There's a whole different dimension to the Adele album.
Hello, it's me, Michael Scott. I don't know if, you know.
Yep, Michael Tapestry. There you go. There's. I just enjoy. These are too good. This is great and far. This is not even.
Boat.
This is the best one. Stankonia. Dwight Schrute. I love it. This is hilarious. I love it. Gangsta. Okay, and we just circle back to the top. That's great. I just enjoyed this too much. I was like, we can't not talk about this on the show. I'm like, guys, which are the ones that you guys enjoyed the most? We have Fiona in the chat. Hello, moderator Fiona. How are you doing today? You have walked into Michael Scott album covers, which she has not seen The Office, so she doesn't know what we were talking about. But the Glimmer cast is like, oh, that's perfect. The John the Carter 3 is a rap album from Lil Wayne.
Yeah, like they're like, bro, I don't fucking care. Like, it's a bunch of music I don't listen to, so it's whatever.
Hell yeah. All right, moving on to the next thing. So we've been talking about a lot of RuPaul Drag Race recently. Now the creative duo who created basically the World of Wonder, the WoW, basically the company and the streaming service that kind of supports all the RuPaul Drag Race franchises. The producers Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, they are set for Sheffield Doc Fest, and they're going to be there and hosting a virtual conversation. And they've been talking about how queer stories are facing growing resistance these days and the climate that we're living in. But of course, WoW, the streaming service, is still doing great. There's a new RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars edition starting out soon. I just wanted to bring this up, John, because again, yesterday we talked about how that drag queen, what was it? Was it Jiggly Caliente? She passed away over the weekend. So that was obviously terrible news, but yeah, I mean, the World of Wonder, wow, the production company doing good for themselves. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I don't know, Sheffield Doc Fest, there's a lot of documentary stuff going around right now because of that coming up, and we're getting into that festival season again, so yeah. Everybody's like, Fiona's alive and kicking. Yes, it's been a while. She's been busy. Hunter Iggy in the chat saying Den of Nerds believe the rumors of super shit. Do they? Like, okay, that's a reference to yesterday's show, Hunter. We will get into the DC stuff in a little bit, so we'll talk about that. And yes, Glimmercast, best wishes to the family of Jiggly Caliente who passed away yesterday. But moving on to the next thing, Sony is using Roblox to market Karate Kid Legends to the next generation, John. How else are you going to teach Gen Z and Alpha to wax on, wax off? This apparently, if you want to get into a little bit more of it, Sony Pictures and GameFam, the GameFam, of course, calls themselves the leading metaverse media company for Gen Z and Alpha communities. They've joined forces for the Karate Kid training simulator on Roblox, and the game launches on May 2nd, weeks ahead of the Karate Kid Legends May 30th theatrical release. Do you care to partake? in Roblox?
I haven't played Roblox since high school, I think. Like, I haven't played that shit in like 10, 12 years. The landscape has changed, so I don't know if even I can fucking navigate. I know it's pretty much like pay for play at this point. I know it's not, but I'm being hyperbolic with how much you have to like fucking pay for this shit. But yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it. I mean, sure, why not? Get all the youngins to try and go to the movies, not throwing popcorn while yelling chicken jockey, but try to, get them to see it, because I'm super stoked for it. It looks like a great movie. So we've gotten, Cobra Kai was so fucking good for most of its run, so I'm stoked for it.
I would love to see if this has an actual effect in terms of bringing in that younger crowd, because yeah, it's a franchise that a lot of people might only know from Cobra Kai, right? So some people might not have ever seen the original movies, not to mention the Jackie Chan version, and they're like, wait, why is Jackie Chan in this whole franchise? So it'll be interesting to see how it all ties together. But hey, you know what? This is how you bring in the audience. Minecraft did it, so maybe Roblox can too. But Jackie Chan, speaking of whom, is set to receive the Locarno Film Festival Lifetime honor. He's the star, director, producer, writer, choreographer, singer, athlete, and daredevil stuntman, a key figure in contemporary Asian cinema, they said, whose influence has rewritten the rules of Hollywood cinema. It seems like these days, every few years you get some new organization giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award, which, quite frankly, Jackie Chan did change how movies were made for a lot of years. From when he was in Hong Kong to when he came over to Hollywood, and he's still doing work. So, John, what are your thoughts on this one?
Deserving. More than deserving. What he's done for film will always be remembered, and any Lifetime Achievement Award that Chan gets always will be deserving, no matter what.
Yeah. There are skeptics or the critics of Jackie Chan, but some potential.
Yeah, but we call those people losers, Dan.
So no, but I'm just saying it's always the asterisk, I guess. Like we were talking about Thunderbolts earlier. But nonetheless, the impact that Jackie Chan has had on cinema is literally, you can't deny that. Like, even they're supposedly, are they still working on that new?
To be fair, Jose asked a good question. Is Jackie Chan the only actor that has 0 haters? I think so. That and Keanu Reeves and maybe Paul Rudd. So
I still keep getting on social media fed this, like, he went on one of the late night shows, and then he was there. Basically, he was like, I'm gonna shoot a picture of an actor, and you tell me if he was in the MCU or not. If you get it wrong, you have to take a shot. And then they're just like purposefully getting it wrong, and it's just the most fun thing, because this is Paul Rudd is.
Paul Rudd gives no fucks. He's in the most garbage trilogy out of that entire franchise, so he gives no fucks.
The first movie and Luis, some of the best parts of the entire MCU.
But here's the thing. Imagine how much better that movie would have fucking been if Edgar Wright stayed on. Like,
but it might have been a completely different movie. Anyway,
it would have been a whole different conversation. That's what it would have been. Fuck Ant-Man. Fuck Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I'm sure Quantumania is garbage too. Fuck that movie. Cool. Anyway.
All right. Well, Caught Stealing, another movie. We just got a first look at it. Austin Butler goes on the run in Darren Aronofsky's new crime caper. It stars Bad Bunny, Zoe Kravitz, Liev Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Matt Smith. They all want a piece of him in this odyssey through the late 90s New York. So we have a bunch of photos from this. Of course, right there you got Zoe Kravitz and Austin Butler, and a bunch of other photos here that I came across. Austin Butler is another one of those rising stars who seems to be getting, the cream of the crop.
I remember when he was on Ned's Declassified.
Me always too, man. Will remember. Me too. Always will remember. Look at that Bad Bunny in the middle, like just chewing up the scenery.
When are we getting that El Muerto movie, Bad Bunny? Come on.
Speaking of the Sony universe, you got Morbius veteran Matt Smith on the left.
Matt Smith, what are you doing, buddy?
He's never afraid to try a different look. Like 90s grunge, man. It's oozing through every shot.
I hate
Vincent D'Onofrio. Look at that, Vincent D'Onofrio on the right. That's him.
Jesus, looking like an Amish dude.
But
it's just, I hate Darren Aronofsky. He's such a pretentious fuckwad. But
right there in the flesh.
You know, it's got a good cast. Maybe I'll go see it. I'll go see it. I'll go see it.
Yep,
I'm definitely seeing this.
That's the shot that sells you. Yep.
That's the shot right there.
That's the shot right there. Yep. Moving on. SAG-AFTRA launches influencer committee amid further push into creator economy. This is basically they kind of establish a committee that's going to provide greater guidance and leadership around the idea of the union working with creators, not just in sponsored content, but just in general, you know, brand content where you have creators making short films and stuff. And this is essentially SAG-AFTRA recognizing that the creators out there now have a greater sense of influence on Hollywood than they've ever had before, right? It's not.
I mean,
just
when you're
about
looking
the
at
studios
Instagram followers to pick actors for your next project, yeah, that's kind of, you know, how we're going now, for better or for worse.
Yep. Enterprising saying Jackie Chan's a true legend. Bruce Lee legacies along with Donnie Yen and Jet Li. Yeah, definitely in the same conversation. And Jose's like, cool cast. Still can't believe a grown man calls himself Bad Bunny. Well, you know what? He does, and he's one of the most popular musical acts in the whole world today. But with that said, the next thing I want to get into, Top Gun Maverick. It's the subject of a lawsuit from I don't know if that lawsuit, the previous one, got dismissed yet or still in the works, where the family of the author who wrote the original article that the original movie was based on had sued, saying that they had to renegotiate the licensing terms for Top Gun Maverick because they expired in the time that it was delayed over the pandemic, and they didn't, you know, renegotiate it. That was a different lawsuit. But now Paramount is getting sued again, this time by the writer's cousin for Top Gun Maverick over screenplay credits, because he claims that he basically wrote the story and helped write a lot of the screenplay for his cousin Eric Warren Singer, but then he was never, you know, Sean Gray was never given credit for this, and so he wants to share the profits when the blockbuster sequel, which, oh hell no, you're not getting a share of the profits. Like, not Eric Warren Singer did not get share of the profits, so my guess is here he's just doing this because, you know, he wants some compensation because he didn't get officially paid, or whatever he did get paid he felt was not enough, and he's got, you know, some wiggle room here to, you know, work himself into a situation. John, what are your thoughts on this?
Cool. Great. Don't care.
Well, we'll keep following the story, you know, as this progresses. If it ends up anywhere,
I still love the movie, but it's like, who fucking cares, man? Oh yeah, my cousin's
I just
brother's
watched it last
former
week.
roommate. He wants credit.
I'm just saying.
Like,
I'm just saying. All right. Well, moving on to the next thing. Dave Patel, of course, he's continuing to do more work as a director, actor, writer, and so he's set to direct, star, and period revenge action thriller The Peasant for 5th season. He's also writing the feature for that Thunder Road, the same banner behind the bullet blazing, as they say in Hollywood Reporter, John Wick movies. So they're producing this, and Dave Patel, of course, did Monkey Man last year, which got picked up by, you know, speaking of Jordan Peele, who did not get his hands on weapons, did get the rights to distribute Monkey Man in theaters, and it looks like Thunder Road is going to be distributing The Peasant. John, are you excited about this? I mean, Dave Patel clearly showed he's got the stuff, like last year with Monkey Man. It's triple threat, they call him.
Hell yeah.
He's writing, directing, and starring in this.
The man deserves all the things. I think he's a really underrated talent. He's gotten some critical acclaim, like with Lion about 5-6 years ago, but I think he deserves more. I think he's, you know, I know Slumdog Millionaire and Lion, but like I feel like Dev Patel is like almost like kind of broken the bag of like great big star. I just feel like he has the charisma and acting ability to really do that. I feel like he just hasn't hit that peak yet. I don't know.
I mean, look, this might be it then, because like you look at the description of the movie, it's an adrenalized, that's a word, revenge thriller. The project is being described as having shades of Braveheart and John Wick, as well as notes of King Arthur as it mashes up medieval knights with feudal India.
I'm there.
That sounds interesting.
I mean, he already did kind of medieval fantasy vibes with Green Knight. That was great.
Yeah. Not to mention, he was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. The one
we don't talk about that.
Sorry,
Dan.
I just wanted to mention. Just saying. You know, not hitting his peak yet, but Natasha Lyonne might be hitting her peak because she's in everything these days. She's got a couple of shows on the air, and she's now set to make her directorial debut with an AI film with help from Jaron Lanier. The actress and the tech pioneer will also work with Britt Marling and AI studio Asteria on Uncanny Valley, John. It's looks interesting. I mean, I don't know how much AI we're going to get in this. Thank you, Jalen. We do love the music ourselves. What are your thoughts on this, Sean?
AI, not great. Let's not do that.
Well, her take on this was basically it's like the creators are in charge. It's not like an AI-led effort. AI is just being used as a tool, and so she's saying like that's okay.
Sounds a little precarious.
So
a little bit.
Well, with that, we're gonna move on to the next story. Avatar. Speaking of Avatar, I mentioned. See, there was a setup to and then leading it to a payoff. The Avatar: The Last Airbender is coming to a concert venue near you for the 20th anniversary tour. From fans of the Nickelodeon franchise can expect a 2-hour visual journey through all seasons of the iconic animated series, projected on a full-size cinema screen with new elements and artistic surprises. John, is this one that you'd like to check out?
Maybe if it's like near me, I'll go see it. Sounds
we'll just
cool.
have to wait and see if there's any Ticketmaster or I don't know, wherever you find your tickets to concerts. But moving on to the next thing, Formula One, of course. F1 is potentially going to be one of the biggest movies of the year, but there's a new Formula One documentary series called The Seat, exploring Mercedes driver change. Of course, the big one where the Lewis Hamilton left to join Ferrari. That documentary is now set to land at Netflix, examining the decision to promote the 18-year-old driver. Kimi Antonelli is the focus of the film, launching next month. John, is this one that you'd be interested in? Because I know a whole hell of a lot of people who love to watch, the F1 and everything around it. Is it Drive to? There's a whole documentary series on Netflix on F1 that everybody loves, which basically opened the world of Formula One racing to a lot of people on Netflix.
I'm interested in the movie, and that's as far as my interest in Formula One racing has to go. Thanks, Joseph.
Well, between
Kaczynski
this
Brad
and then
Pitt, but
Drive to Survive and the F1 movie, you got plenty of.
I don't care about Formula
stuff
One
to check
racing
out.
from a realistic point of view. I just care about the movie.
Fair enough. All right, moving on to the next thing. Mamoru Hosoda's anime princess film Scarlet has landed a December 2025 release. Sony Pictures is co-producing and co-financing the pick with the acclaimed Japanese writer-director Studio Chizu and Nippon TV. John, this looked interesting. If you're a fan of anime, this is going to be a big one. It comes out in theaters in North America on December 12th. What are your thoughts on Scarlet?
Could be cool. I don't know if I'd go see it, but it looks. The picture looks.
I probably will end up seeing it. Maybe if you want to be interested in this looks interesting.
Brave princess who transcends space and time. Cool. It's anime Doctor Who. I'm in with it.
Yep, I'm into it myself. I'll go check this out when it comes out in December, right before Christmas. Now, speaking of Ryan Coogler's Sinners, which we're talking about pretty much every day these days, because of course we are. Variety, of course, infamously last week had speculated in one of their articles, like, will this movie break even? And then it went on to make pretty much the same amount of money in the second weekend that it did in the first, firmly reaffirming
now this
that
is just
they will be
apology
making plenty of money.
Or it's just like Variety, we swear we didn't mean it like that. Now they're like, it's gonna be Oscar worthy, we swear. And then
Clayton Davis just wrote an article saying this is the first Oscar movie of 2025. So the question for you, John, is which Oscar category do you think it's most likely to win in this upcoming year? Like when the 2026 Oscars happen, Sinners gets nominated across probably a bunch of different categories. Given that it came out so early, though, it may get that whole recency bias working against it with all the movies that will come out later in the year. But if you had to guess, which category do you think is most likely to win for at the Oscars next year?
Minecraft movie.
That's not a category. What are you talking about? That's
What?
not a category.
Oh, I thought no. It's just Minecraft movie is just gonna sweep the entire awards for every category. That's what I meant.
You know what? I'm gonna go with what Enterprising said as my answer to the question. Costume and makeup best score. I think personally this could get maybe one of the actors, like a supporting actor.
Sinners is not even gonna get because it's an actually great movie. It's not gonna get nominated.
Dude,
Amelia
Delroy
Perez
Lindo?
2 Electric Boogaloo is gonna sweep the entire year.
I really love what the Glimmer cast said, because Delroy Lindo could be best supporting actor. That man was hilarious in that movie, unexpectedly so. I didn't expect to be as enthralled.
No,
with
you
his
know what I
character
think?
as
I don't think
was.
Delroy Lindo is gonna get it. I think it's Michael B. Jordan is gonna get it for supporting, and then Miles Caton would get best actor. Yeah, I could see that happening. Because Michael
B.
Caton
Jordan, you could make the case as the best lead and the supporting, because one of the twins is more like the lead actor and the other one's more of a
well, Miles Caton is the real main character of the movie, but
That's
I don't
true.
know if that's he's considered for lead acting, but like obviously
That
we'll
boy's
see.
voice
I could
is
see this
deep.
being nominated for a
Yes.
lot of stuff. I mean, if fucking Black Panther can get fucking nominated for best fucking picture, this has no like in all seriousness, this has no qualm. Like it's gonna get nominated for shit. Like, come on now. If Marvel slop can get nominated, this can get fucking nominated.
Well, for me, I think this movie should also get nominated for Best Picture, because
I
there's
think
not
so
going to
too.
be like 10 other Best Picture nominees better than this between now and the time the Oscars like come on air. So yeah, and whether it wins or not, though, we'll have to find out. There's a lot of movies yet to come. But moving on to the next thing, Michael B. Jordan, of course, behind the scenes with Haley Steinfeld on set. We got the set photo. Very gory, very bloody. Definitely a lot going on. This, I can imagine this is from that one scene when she's literally eating his neck, and then other stuff, and then he dies. The twin dies. This looks like it's from that room and that sequence, which is there's a lot of blood in this movie. If you're not,
It's a vampire movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, just be aware. Revenge of the Sith, of course, is celebrating its 20th anniversary at the box office. It's made 45 million in one weekend, dude. There's clearly an appetite for Star Wars movies. If only we were getting new ones. But while we're waiting for any new Star Wars, they of course have put out the, Revenge of the Sith for its 20th anniversary. We talked about how Hayden Christensen's living his best life, being accepted by the Star Wars fandom finally. But Sam Jackson was also there, Nick Fury, and the both of them celebrated together. It looks like everybody got themselves a glow stick, otherwise known as a lightsaber. So I love seeing this, of course, the continued celebration of the franchise. Appreciate y'all, Sam Jackson saying. So I mean, until next time, I mean, this movie Revenge of the Sith is in theaters until April 30th. So if you missed the chance and you want to see it on the big screen, you still can. But speaking of seeing things on the big screen, Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour is ongoing. Of course, Lady Gaga is also out there right now doing things. But is Beyonce teasing Telephone Part 2 on the new tour? There's a little bit of a shot that looks like maybe Lady Gaga on the phone, then then the phone is ringing. Beyonce's not answering. But I'm like, Lady Gaga's making pop music again, and Beyonce is out there doing a new tour. I mean, I don't know, guys. Are we gonna get the Telephone Part 2? I would love to see that. If we do this, long overdue. I love that song, and it feels forever now since that first came out. So I love that. I love it. You let us know if you are looking forward to Telephone Part 2. But moving on to the next thing, and I wonder where John went. But the most anticipated films for the rest of the year, this one is from Eat Movies. But John, I wanted to get your opinion on whether this list kind of lines up with what your most anticipated movies the rest of the year are. They put F1 at number 1, then The Phoenician Scheme at number 2, Eddington at number 3, The Smashing Machine, which we talked about earlier, at number 4. Superman lands all the way down at number 5, then followed up by what they're calling, I'm sure they mean Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I don't know why they're shortening the titles this way. Then you have Ballerina after that, Jurassic World, Rebirth, R.I.P., which I forgot that even existed. The Roses, that was at CinemaCon, that looked interesting. Tron Ares, I actually like that trailer. Wake Up Dead Man, of course, on Netflix. And then, dude, this sequence, one battle after another. I'm like, I want this movie so bad.
I'm sorry. Who's the fucking assholes that are fucking excited, more excited for an Ari Aster movie, a COVID Western, than Superman? Who are you? And where can I find you? Am I? But like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Beau's Afraid is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I'm still curious about Eddington. I probably won't watch it in a theater, but I'm still like weirdly curious about it. So I'm gonna watch it, but like, not excited for it. And who the fuck's excited for Tron Ares? Like, I understand. Like, I personally don't care for Knives Out, but I know a lot of people like that franchise, so it's like, sure. And then Paul Thomas Anderson, Wes Anderson, a lot of people love them. I'm excited for one battle after another. I don't like Wes Anderson. I'm not a huge Wes Anderson fan.
Wake Up Dead Man could be interesting. I mean,
I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the second one, so I can't imagine the third one is gonna give me anything else. Even with, you know, even though Daniel Craig is in his long-haired goateed phase, but you know, we'll see.
He skipped out on Sergeant Rock for working on Narnia, maybe over at Netflix, right? That was the rumor that he might be signing up for the Narnia movie, and that's why he's not. I mean, and then of course the Knives Out franchise. I, for one, think this list is a little off the mark for me because I would say Superman and Mission Impossible are my two most anticipated. The Smashing Machine is definitely
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm excited for the Smashing Machine, but like literally the trailer just came out, and that's number 4. Nobody knew this fucking movie existed before the trailer. I mean, I did because I paid, but I'm a fucking cinephile. I try to pay attention to the most.
I don't see how the definition scheme doesn't look good to me. And Eddington, not new. I mean, F1 at number 1. I probably would put it in my top 5, but maybe not at number 1.
Phoenician scheme, like, it just looks like typical Wes Anderson, which people like that. Cool.
Down to a formula.
Yeah, it's like he's just cranking out the same kind of movie over and over again with a slightly different plot, but it's like they act the same, the writing's the same. It's just like, let's tweak this so I can like pump this shit out, and then boom.
Well, the Gloomer cast is like, I didn't even know most of these were coming out this year. Well, you know what? Now you know. And you can expect all of them to come out later this year. We'll be talking about them on the show.
You know. Anyway.
We will give you all the information that you need to know. And Elite Easy is saying, I only care about Superman. Well, we do also care about Superman. We're getting to Superman shortly. But before we do, we have to talk about how an X-Men writer, Chris Claremont, has seemingly dropped a huge spoiler for Avengers Secret Wars. He recently appeared at a comic convention, and he appeared to drop a spoiler for the movie. So let's kind of get into what he said.
So we'll see about that.
He claimed that Psylocke is returning and suggested that Wolverine will kill somebody important. He also said that Robert Downey Jr. will play multiple characters in the movie, including Iron Man, and he revealed that Chris Evans will be back as Captain America, young Steve Rogers, and Hydra Cap, later adding that Elizabeth Olsen will return as a good Scarlet Witch. I don't know how much of this is true, if any of this is true.
Is this actually coming from Chris Claremont, or is it just some dipshit that's like, Chris Claremont 100% definitely said this? So, you know.
Well, this was Huntsville Pop Culture Expo, and he talked about the movie, and he was rambling a little, but he appeared to drop some details. So I guess he was just rambling on, and in the process, he mentioned a few things like this. So maybe we're just listing off things that he expects to see, but that's interesting. I mean, he probably didn't think there was much of an audience there that's going to make, but hey, the internet is undefeated. It ended up online. So hopefully he did not just give up everything that Kevin Feige and company have been working so hard to hide away behind their.
It's just now like Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers are now that Jordan Peele meme of him sweating his balls off. Like, this motherfucker really just said. Are they like, we already fucking, god damn it, we already didn't cast Tom Holland in this movie for this very reason. Now Chris Claremont spoiling shit.
Damn it, Chris. But like, you know, here's the thing. I don't know how much Chris Claremont would know, considering that he's not exactly working on the movie. But I guess we'll see. I guess we will just have to see. Main Man Fam saying, uh-oh, Chris pulled the Liefeld. Well, if this is true, someone is losing a job, says Enterprising. Well, you know what? If it is true, then yeah, somebody might just be losing their job, because that's a lot of big spoilers. The fact that we're not only getting Robert Downey Jr. potentially playing Iron Man, as well as all the other characters, obviously Doom, but also getting Captain America back, a young Captain America, and a Hydra Cap with Chris Evans, and Scarlet Witch Elizabeth Olsen's back. Both Elizabeth Olsen and Chris Evans have said that they're not coming back to the MCU, at least not for the upcoming Avengers movies. So that clearly contradicts those statements. But hey, that's all for the news and the quickest today. So John, if you want to hit a stop to the music, let us know, guys, in the comments, which of the stories did you enjoy the most? Was it the Michael Scott album covers?
Maybe what we can do with the music is just The rest of the entire stream is just. There we go. That's great. Now we just yell over ourselves every single.
I can't hear you. I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear you.
Anyway.
Loud piano music. Main Man Fam loves it, and yeah, there's certainly vibes indeed.
Wii Sports music.
You know what? I do remember that. We could find it maybe sometime.
Anyway, I fucking Wii Sports, man.
Dude,
There's
the Nintendo. I don't know where it is actually right now, but I had one and it's in storage somewhere. I would pull that shit out just to play Wii Sports. I love bowling when you like hit the.
I remember that was one of the few
things,
good things from like Wii Sports Resort for the Wii U. That was like people were like, yeah, this was like the one good thing the Wii U gave us.
Dude, Wii Sports Resorts also. Then you had frisbee golf in there. Yeah, that was like the next level up shit. Yeah. Sorry, Fiona. We just stole that stuff from your playlist. It's okay. It's all right. In fact, you gave it to me. That's kind of how that works. But anyway, guys, let us know what you thought about all the new stuff. Right now, it's time to move on to the DC news. We got the graphics sitting there already. So welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily. As always, we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. A lot of Superman stuff. We do have to talk about a little bit of Wonder Woman. I'm going to hurt myself a little bit by bringing up the Penguin again. But you know what, John? I want to ask you, which of the stories are you most excited about today?
I'm definitely, I'm most excited about like the Superman stuff. I'm curious about the Trunks or no Trunks talk, but like I think that's just Dan clickbaiting the audience. But still
what are you
excited
talking about. That's not it at all. That's totally not it. Yeah, DC says enterprising, and with that we get ourselves on the way. Well, somebody did it. They put the Penguin in the Penguin. Fuck Wick, you and me. It's all that's left. Famous last words, except for Wick. Justice for Wick. I'm still looking for justice for Wick. I don't know where Caleb is, but this is the one part of the show where I'm missing him a little bit. I don't know where Caleb is today. Honka, where are you, man? This was recently posted because the World Penguin Day took place recently. So if you guys haven't already, go back and watch the Penguin again. There's like 8 episodes. It doesn't take very long. Oh, Caleb is here. Hello, Caleb. Did I miss?
No, he did. He showed up. No, I don't know what you were talking about.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay, I thought he was missing in the action. Honka, you've been okay. You have been here for 10 minutes. My bad. No, we don't have any updated news on the mutant hashtag hitting monkeys. That James Gunn hasn't addressed it. We haven't had anybody else talk about it like officially. So if you guys come across anything, you let us know. We talked about it a bit yesterday. Still seems pretty crazy that that is actually something that would be in the movie. But again, for all we know, we watched the movie this July and it is in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the kind of story that James Gunn is trying to tell. But so far, we don't have any updates, but if we do, we will definitely bring that to you. The next thing I wanted to bring up, I came across this cover. It's the Wonder Woman issue number 23, featuring artwork by Danielle Sampere. It looked pretty cool to me. I mean, again, Wonder Woman, she's got a baby on her back. So again, showing, just the power of Princess Diana. Like, she is not going to be stopped or held back, even if she's got a young child to take care of. And you got the lasso of truth on the side. And I thought this was great. Great representation for
it's kind of
it kind of reminds you of what every woman could be doing. Yeah,
it kind of reminds you of art imitating life a little bit, considering that Gal Gadot was pregnant during.
She was. No, that's a good point. Like, she was literally. Remember, there was a story that she had a production assistant walking around with her with a bucket that she would throw up in, like in between takes, especially when they were doing, like you said, the reshoots, because they were like. They were like pretty much doing it in front of green screens, and she felt terrible. I mean, that's power to her for pushing through that, by the way. But anyway, you were saying, John.
Yeah, no, it's art imitates life. Like,
yeah,
babies and Wonder Woman. There you go.
Yep. Not holding her back, not holding Princess Diana back at all. I mean, that's incredibly powerful imagery for other people out there who are reading the comics and saying, hey, you know what? Just because I had a baby doesn't mean I can't do very well in my life or in my career. I mean, and then art, like you said, art imitating life. Because Gal Gadot not only had that, like, she wasn't only pregnant for like the BV, like for Justice League. I believe she was also pregnant around the time they were filming Batman v Superman. It happened a couple of times, or maybe it was one of the Wonder Woman movies where in multiple situations she had been going through a pregnancy like around the time of filming, and like power to her. It's like I've also heard stories with like Leonardo DiCaprio, not pregnant obviously, but like he would show up to the set of what was the movie that he did with Jonah Hill? Why am I forgetting this right now? With Martin Scorsese. You know the one I'm talking about, where he plays the Bernie Madoff, essentially, right?
Can't
Come
think
on,
of it.
you know the Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street. Like
Jesus Christ, man.
God, like I'm sorry, is that not the same thing? Anyway, whatever. So the
We're
Wolf of Wall Street,
working on the Discord server. We swear.
Who's asking for that now? Is that?
It's Hosea.
Oh,
they're like, I would create a Discord account if there's a guy
yes
at a Discord server.
We will definitely we're getting to it. We're getting to it. But Caleb saying Wolf of Wall Street. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. There was a story that like Leonardo DiCaprio was incredibly sick. Now, obviously, like I said, nothing to do with the baby. But I'm just saying, in terms of an actor just showing up on set, and pushing himself through a lot of pain, and not saying that it's the same pain as being pregnant, but like he was literally throwing up between takes. And Gal Gadot was kind of in a similar spot, shooting multiple DCU movies. She was doing the work while going through what's one of the most transformative parts of anybody's life, quite frankly. But this is a really powerful piece of artwork for all Wonder Woman fans out there to hopefully admire. And issue number 23, featuring artwork from Danielle Semper. Moving on to the next thing, John. This is the big one, the Superman thing. Trunks or no trunks? That is the question. Somebody did a Photoshop. I'm, of course, not a stranger to doing Superman Photoshops in that area, both literally and figuratively. But in this case, they removed the trunks and asked the question, what do you think? Red belt, no trunks, or yellow belt with trunks, John? What are your thoughts? Do you prefer it one way or the other? I mean, it looks pretty seamless
trunks,
to me.
obviously. The one on the right looks like dog shit. Like, come on. It looks so weird. It doesn't look natural. Looks terrible. God damn.
I don't know, guys. You guys tell me in the chat. For one, I feel like with this particular costume design, it's meant to work with the trunks rather than without the trunks. So I don't think the no trunks work with the design as is. There's a reason why with the Man of Steel suit, they did no trunks, but they also kind of built the whole design around that idea with like how they balance all the colors, and they had a bit of a belt sort of. They didn't really have a belt, but they had like some accenting on the suit that sort of was in its place. So yeah, but as far as no trunks or trunks, I personally think this particular suit would look off if it had a red belt and no trunks. I mean, John, you clearly seem to think so as well. But it also very clearly looks like those trunks could easily be taken off and the rest of the suit is like that one piece. Like, it's not like he's wearing, it's like, I don't know. I do wonder how he gets in and out of it. Do you think it's a two-piece situation where it's like a shirt on top and then like the pants, except, and then, they're really, like, is that how this suit works? Like, from a practicality standpoint?
I have no fucking clue. I'd like to think it's a onesie and he has to put on the underwear. So like, yeah,
that's very possible. Do you think they'd zip him up in the back? Like, is that how that works? Because then he's wearing the capes and nobody notices. Mark Hatna's like, give female superheroes trunks too. Does Supergirl have that design? I don't think she does. She's never had a design with trunks on her.
No, because she either has the skirt or actually she did in the New 52. She just didn't have leg. Like, it was like kind of like a bathing suit where it was like that, where it was essentially like this, but like there was no blue pants. Like but it was like kind of like a swimsuit, but with like long sleeves, and then red boots that had like holes for the knees. It was a weird ass design, very weird design. it's very hard to describe. I don't know how to describe it properly.
Yeah, your description is not a very good one. It's not like it's not painting the picture that I think you want to be painting. But yeah, nanotechnology trunks. Maybe that's what we're getting here. It just like, you know, when Iron Man takes his glasses off and then the suit just comes on, the trunks just kind of appear on top of the suit. Maybe that's where we're headed. It's interesting though, because we did speculate early when the trailer came out. There was a shot in the movie where he's holding, you know, one of the robots, maybe robot number 4, is dying, and it looks like Superman is not wearing his trunks in that moment. Maybe, I don't know. It was kind of interesting. You guys are having quite the conversation in the chat. Caleb saying the mutant monkeys created the no trunk suites. Suites? Okay. He does a Michael Jackson dance and the trunks disappear. Yeah, I suppose that could happen. But John, you were talking about the Supergirl design. There it is.
That's it's like a bathing suit. It's like a onesie bathing suit with sleeves. That's exactly what I was fucking describing.
No, but it's kind of hard to just because I wouldn't have thought of it because it's so different from every other iteration of the Supergirl suit. So it's definitely not anything I would have thought of.
I love how she still has heels. Like she still has wedges. Like, all right,
yeah,
really?
That's got to be uncomfortable to walk in after a while.
But it was written by Michael Green, and he is a pretty good writer. So,
Enterprising saying this felt more like it was inspired by an Olympic gymnast suit or costume, which I guess you're not too far off the mark. I suppose like that could be it. Maybe that was one of the references. But yeah, I mean, as far as the trunks or no trunks conversation, I feel like everybody's, at least with this suit, firmly in the trunks part or portion of the side of trunks. I suppose you could say that, because at least the suit that they've designed, you look at the Photoshop, I just don't think it works as well without the trunks. Like I don't know. I guess maybe I could get used to it. Never mind. I'm not gonna stare at that any longer. I've stared at it long enough today. New Superman merch is arriving soon, John. You can get yourself another shirt that kind of looks like the top half of the costume.
the thing that I hate most about the fucking suit, the lines.
The lines. You can get all of these other little stationary things, paper clips, and
like that's the pen I thought you were talking about.
No,
like that fucking cheapo pen.
You saw the photos yesterday. They're like fountain pens. Like,
well, there was a lot of links. I probably didn't click on it, but I'd get the notebook. I like the notebook. I
love the notebook. Notebooks. That design looks really nice. It could be something you can like, do some doodling in, or like, just do some sketchbooking in if you're on the go and you just want to note something down. It's also in a world now where we're used to just typing everything out. We're losing the skill, the ability to write with our hands. So having a sketchbook around you just to kind of sketch in a little bit is a skill set that I think we should all try to retain a little bit of. But moving on to the next thing, this is a bunch of stuff that James Gunn has noticed and brought to us as a result of him noticing it. Somebody put a little comic book together based on the trailer that we have seen so far, and the artwork looks pretty fantastic. Dick Tracy Rogues Gallery on Instagram, illustrated by Howie Noel. Basically showing the scenes from the trailer, showing Superman there. That looks really cool, actually. In that design, the trunks fit perfectly. He's showing a much more lean version of Superman, I guess, than you could see David Cornswell is much more. He's buffer or wider figure in the actual trailer, the live action one. But then, of course, you've got Crypto there. Crypto looks a lot bigger in this shot than I think he did in the trailer. But then again, it's just maybe just the angle of the camera. And then Crypto taking Superman home. Take me home. What did you think about this artwork, John? It's amazing to see again. The fans are so excited. They're making stuff that's inspired by the trailer.
Love it. Let's go, Crypto.
Like the fandom
taking
is
us
alive
home.
And well. Crypto looks so cute in every shot. He's gonna be the one who will help this movie get to $1 billion. I firmly believe
he's gonna take us home.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to take us home.
Speaking of home, I mean, somebody hung out both of their Superman shirts to dry. Not only the one with the OG Superman logo, but also with the new Superman logo from the movie, and James Gunn was like, you know what, the legacy does live on, 1930 to 2025. Remember, the movie was once upon a time called Superman Legacy, so I do wonder if any elements of that will still make it into the movie, whether it's paying homage to the older Superman iterations or not. We'll have to find out. But John, what are your thoughts on the Superman shirts? I don't know if you can buy the one on the left. Is that available on the DC store?
I think it is. It's just not under like Superman the movie. I think it's under like you have to go to Superman and just because they have the Fleischer one, they have the kind of George Reeves slash Superman the movie looking one. They have the one of the original Shields, not this one, but like one of the first ones. So they have a bunch of them that you can get. They have the Superman blue. They have a ton of them. So I think you can get this one. I remember seeing, I don't know if you can still get it, but you can get like a similar design. I don't think you can get this anymore, but you can get something that's similar. You can probably find it from another site too, like that like license the design or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully getting my hands on both of those. They look amazing. I'm loving more and more the new logo on the right. Like I'm starting to like feel like that's it just fits what Superman needs in 2025. I think it's a very good design, a much more clean cut look than what we even got with the Man of Steel version of the logo. But this wasn't the only fan art that or a fan thing that James Gunn came across today. He posted essentially updated version of that Fleischler Superman one where he's breaking the chains, which I guess could still is the logo, the animated logo of DC Studios. Maybe we can have an updated version with David Cornsweet Superman doing the moves instead. And somebody made a really amazing job. Huts. I think we've seen their artwork before because like they did that Supergirl artwork, right, where they showed like what the new Supergirl suit might look like. This looks great. I would love to see this become like, I don't know, like an official poster even. It almost looks like they're putting the sun behind him there. What do you think about this, Sean?
Definitely cool. You can kind of tell it's a little bit awkward looking, but for the most part, it looks great. I love it. I'm loving this fan artwork. I love Cisco. You're him. Yeah, there he is. It's definitely. It's iconic. It looks great.
Yep, Caleb was loving it as well. Enterprising saying I like this one. It's iconic. Caleb loves the Fleischler shield the most. I mean, that's still one of the iconic ones. It's not the one that we're getting in the movie, and I think the one we're getting today is much more in line with what we should be expecting in the 21st century. But still, you can't, look to the future without looking back at the past and what's come before and the shoulders of giants that we stand upon. So, with that said, Caleb telling us to look up. And we shall. Speaking of looking up, John, the last question I have today for you is the summer of Superman. It is around the corner. And, we keep being asked to look up. But I guess the question it begs is, what are your expectations given where we stand today based on all the stuff we have seen from the movie, whether it's the behind the scenes featurette, whether it's all the photos that they've been releasing, the first trailer, the 5-minute, scene that they released at CinemaCon, and of course, potentially the second trailer coming out soon. What do you expect this summer to feel like? Will it actually be the summer of Superman when we walk away from August or September this year into the fall months? Do you think we will look back and say, yes, this was firmly the summer of Superman? Or will another movie dominate the headlines?
I don't know. It's tough because it's like this is because I think there is the idea of you have Fantastic Four. That's the first time in 10 years we've gotten a Fantastic Four movie. It's the first time in 12 years we've gotten a Superman movie, but this is like 2 or 3 years since we got a Jurassic World movie. So maybe consistency will have Rebirth winning at the end of the day. Maybe the iconography of Superman will be the winner, or maybe the franchise attachment to a franchise will have Fantastic Four winning with being a part of the MCU, even though it's the first Fantastic Four film in like 10 years. So there is that as well. So who knows? I would, again, the bias in me wants to say Superman, but we will have to see. I want to believe it's the summer of Superman. So
And figure drawing, not enterprising. Figure drawing loads the damn suit. I don't know. The suit is growing on me, man. It's definitely starting to grow on me. And enterprising, I also love the Lois and Soup's picture that we got the other day. Again, getting a better look at that image or that whole sequence that they shot back in Cincinnati from a year ago that we kept talking about in the summer because we got so many photos from afar away. This looks like it's as close to the shot from the movie itself as we're gonna get until the movie itself. Figure drawing saying this looks like a Tron Superman suit with all the lines. Yeah, I mean that's it's not the maybe what they will do. It's not the perfect part. It's not the best suit that I've seen from Superman. I will admit. So maybe in the sequels they will tone down all the lines and everything. There is I guess a practicality aspect to this as well because in Man of Steel that Superman suit was like kind of like this family regalia like that the House of L would wear, and then it was built into the Kryptonian heritage. How does this figure into the Kryptonian heritage? Is this more suit of armor kind of a thing? Because the way it's designed is more like a Batman suit in some ways, like the stuff on the arms, like that whole piece looks like, and Batman has those little blades there. Like, of course, Superman doesn't have that, but it's almost like it's padding or some, it seemingly has a purpose to it. But then again, he's got the trunks on top, which I don't know how they're gonna explain that away still, but maybe they don't have to. Caleb, on the other hand, loving the suit, and Figure Drawing saying at least it doesn't have pockets, which cool, fair enough. And Caleb also saying the first Superman doesn't need to be flawless. Have the suits get better throughout more and more movies. Yeah, and then they can sell us more merchandise. A new Halloween costume every year. Elite Easy saying it would be cute as F if the suit that Batman has in the universe will match up with the Superman suit. And you know what? We'll have to just wait and see. That could be also a very interesting. Although I have a feeling they're gonna contrast on purpose. So they want to make them look as different as possible. And Hosea is glad that we don't get the abs under the suit, which I am too. I think that's something
I don't think they're
different that we haven't seen
necessary.
before. Because it's not like the abs are what give Superman his powers. It's the fact that he's Kryptonian is why he's so powerful. Enterprising saying, I will say this, that every inch of this suit came from Superman comics versus Snyder's more original design. That's also fair in some ways. I would say though, like the Snyder suit wasn't entirely original in that sense either. There were definitely influences from the comics. But then to kind of wrap things up today, John, Hosea was asking, when are we expecting a new trailer for Superman? I asked the question yesterday.
I'm gonna say May 2nd. May 2nd. Let's fucking go. I'm gonna say May 2nd.
This Friday. That's this Friday, John.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it as a power move. They're gonna release it the same day Thunderbolts comes out. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
That would be quite the power move.
It would be quite the power move.
Elite Easy saying Batman gonna steal Superman's suit design as a contingency plan. I guess it depends on if his suit is made of Kryptonian materials and whatnot. Hosea saying that's savage if they did release that. Elite Easy saying the Snyder suit was New 52, which Gunn looked at too. Yeah, I mean, James Gunn was not convinced about having the trunks. It was David Cornsweet who convinced him, right? Because it was like, no matter how you do it, there's no way to make the trunks look good. But David Cornsweet was like, it shouldn't matter if it looks good. It's because like Superman doesn't want to be intimidating to all the kids that look up to him. Which we see in some of the behind the scenes photos, right? And Man of Steel Magnolia is rightfully pointing out we are now 73 days away from the movie coming out. So just a little over almost 2.5 months, but we're getting closer and closer by the day. And Figure Drawing saying John is trying to make a power prediction move. Oh, you know what? That's what we're going to go with today. And that's where we will end the show. May 2nd, when Thunderbolts drops, James Gunn will drop the hammer or the microphone or whatever you want to call it.
The hammer of Bravia, maybe.
Yes, right on top of the Thunderbolts. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But until then, we'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Guys, hit the like button on your way out. Hit the notification bell if you're new. If you haven't even subscribed, then what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, and drop into the comment section because we are doing a Q&A session on Friday. So any questions you have that you want us to address, any fan theories that you have, whether it's casting news. I mean, we don't know who's going to be playing the Hammer of Barabia. Maybe you guys can let us know if you have any ideas about that. And of course, if you have any, theories about when we're gonna get the next Superman trailer, there is another Warner Brothers movie coming out soon, Final Destination. So maybe it drops around that time. That's the next big Warner Brothers release. So that could be it as well. And then of course, Jurassic World comes out in July, but that's probably too close to the movie coming out itself that they wouldn't do that so close to it. But you know what? By the end of this week, we'll be in the May which is the first of the summer months, May, June, July, August. Summer movie months are almost here, and we will kick things off with Thunderbolts and, according to John, a new trailer for Superman. So we'll look forward to that. And then tomorrow we have Liz back on the show. So if Steven, you're watching, then there you go. Liz is joining us tomorrow. John, did Liz say she was going to be here on Wednesday or Thursday, or Wednesday and Friday?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday. All right. So as of right now, the plan is that Liz will be here tomorrow and the day after. So we'll be back here with you as well. In the meantime, hit the like button and get in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you because we will do the Q&A session on Friday. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on another episode of DCU Daily.